Hello, everyone, and welcome back to press coverage from a 50-degree sunny Seattle and a hot and humid Florida, whatever the weather is like in this Florida. What's the weather like there, Adam?
Probably about mid 80s. Not too much rain, but a whole lot of humidity.
Ugh. All right, so we had a big football weekend this weekend. You had teams like the Steelers beating the Bengals, the Chargers destroying the Browns, the Miami Dolphins winning. And of course, the Rams winning, and then of course the Cowboys killed the Jaguars, which pissed me off. But that's not where we're gonna start today, because this week I got an email, and it was about early retirement. And I was like, what would you really like give up to retire early? Like, what is early retirement? I was thinking of that this week, and I was like, man, I would love to retire early, but I don't know how. How much money do you get to save to retire early?
What are you
What?
trying at, like 35?
Yeah, we'll say 35. How much do you think it would cost in today's world to retire at 35?
How big's your house?
I don't have a house, I have an apartment.
So you're going to retire with your apartment?
Listen, I just don't want to work anymore. I don't want to have to work ever again.
Well, name me one person who wants to work like forever, man.
I don't know. I always tell people I became a socialist when I started working. I don't want to work anymore. I want to take people's money and give it to me. I don't want to have to do it.
Became a Bernie Sanders supporter?
I don't want to have to work for any of this money. People need to just give me their money because I asked for it. I actually read a story about some guy that like was outside a mall like every day to like ask for like people's change, and he paid like for his college education with it. I was like, that's a pretty smart idea. You hit up like some fancy mall, like what's that one in Orlando you guys have? Mall Millennium or something?
International Mall.
There you go. I'm thinking about the one in Minnesota.
About to say.
If you retired early, Adam, where would you move to? You can move anywhere. Where'd you move to?
Where would I move to?
Yeah.
Probably a tropical island.
Oh my gosh, you're just so
We'll say
generic
Hawaii just
person
for the
ever.
yard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just watched Magnum PI and Hawaii looked pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, you get so bored in Hawaii so fast.
I get bored in Florida. I mean, what do you expect?
Okay, so you would pick Hawaii, like, ugh. I, Phew. I think I would pick. I have to stay in the States. I want a summer home in Alaska, but to retire and live with, and I'd probably pick somewhere around Seattle. I can't do beaches.
Homer.
I can't do beaches. It doesn't get too free. I was thinking of Denver, but Denver gets too cold. It doesn't get that cold here. So I think somewhere around Seattle is good. I can't do an island. It's too claustrophobic. Ugh, can't stand
Too
that stuff.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, and also
You're away from everything.
have you seen the prices that on the island? How much you gotta pay for stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm retired, so why should I care?
That's a good point. But I mean, when you get bored of the beach?
I fly to another island.
Okay, we didn't say you were like uber rich here. We just said you retired. We didn't say
Well,
you
I'm
were.
retired at 35. I gotta have like millions of dollars.
Have you not read those stories of those people that retire like super young anyway?
I'm probably one of those dudes who like create a company, sell it to somebody, go create another company, sell it, and just keep going until I want to quit.
Then why haven't we done this yet? Why haven't you done this yet, Adam?
I just don't have the motivation, man. I
Oh
just
my
don't want to
gosh.
show the world how
You're
great
like
I really am.
you're like those people that are like, I could lose this 200 pounds I have if I really applied myself, but I just don't feel like applying myself. Or I could really quit smoking if I want to, but they never do. Right? I can't stand those.
Looks like the guys at Planet Fitness today.
Oh man, you go to Planet Fitness, LA
Yeah, man,
Fitness, every day, all day, bro. 5
you gotta
a.m.
set the lunk. You gotta set off the lunk alarm, man. You gotta work hard.
The what?
The lunk. They have a lunk alarm, so if you're
What
like
does
one
that
of those,
mean?
like if you're one of those dudes who like would grunt when you lift and just like make a lot of noise, like you drop your weights, they'll set off this alarm saying like we don't want those type of people here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they have this big alarm, like a big siren looking blue siren at the top. And I've never seen it set off, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to go in there and set it off.
Is it manually set off or is it?
I don't know, because I've never seen it set off, so I don't know how it works. But they have this big old alarm just sitting at the top of the wall.
Oh man, what happens if there was some really really attractive girl next to you while you're working out, Adam, and like you couldn't get her
And
attention,
Cape Coral, please.
and the only way to get her attention would be to set off the lunk alarm? Would you do it? Would you go for it?
The only way I can get her attention,
Yeah.
am I guaranteed to talk to her afterwards?
I mean, that's up to you, bro. Depending on how I don't know. Would you do it though?
She probably will. How would that work? She'd be like, "Man, I'm sick of this guy. He's grunting the whole time. He's just
You gotta
lifting
go
his weights."
loud. You go super loud, like one grunt, like really strain, like
And...
pop that neck vein out, you know, where it's just like foaming out, right? Like the guys on roids. That's what you need to do.
I feel you would be the guy to set off the lunk alarm. You're the type of guy who'd take like 10 weights and just lift like 100 pounds. And oh, I would never want to work out with you. I remember working out with you. It was
I don't
terrible.
grunt.
You're that arrogant, cocky guy who walks in there trying to flex his muscles in the mirror and
No, I'm not.
try to be
What are
all
you talking
suave.
about? What are you talking about? Nah,
I saw
Sam.
you at Flagler, man. I remember.
That was like years ago. No. I wonder if I've gotten bigger since then. I hope I have. But
Cocky.
hey man, I can bench 220, so that's all I care about right now. I was finally happy to get up to that. Anywho, as Stephen A. Smith would say, I digress. Adam, what was the biggest surprise of the football weekend?
Besides Dak Prescott getting on track?
Is that your biggest surprise? You tell me.
No.
Okay, what was
My
it?
biggest surprise was that Miami game.
Oh wow, Homer coming in right here.
No,
Why
I
is
wouldn't
that?
say Homer because I'm just disappointed in the Bears that game. Like, you were
Why?
up 21-10. You were driving down the field and Trubisky throws an interception to all people. T.J. McDonald.
Whew, Adam's got some spice.
T.J. McDonald, arguably the worst safety in the league.
I read a stat today talking about how he's been underpaid this year and how he's got 30 tackles.
Underpaid?
He's got 30 tackles and 2 interceptions and how he's been an asset for the Dolphins. I was like, you gotta
How
be
many
kidding me.
how many missed tackles does he have though? He
Probably
probably would double his
35.
tackles.
Yeah, probably. Oh, he's
The
so
guy is
bad.
a cancer.
Did
He's
this
terrible.
did this game make you think any different about Ryan Tannehill?
I want him gone.
But did it make you feel any different? Or are you still just the same as you did before the game?
I don't feel any more confident in Brock Osweiler.
Okay.
So no, I don't feel more confident in the offense, which also leads me to blame Adam Gase as I usually do.
Okay, I have a question for you. Who is the worst quarterback in the NFL? Starting.
Starting quarterback,
Nathan Peterman doesn't count.
Nathan Peterman does not count. I don't want to count the rookies because I think they have that excuse right now. I
Okay.
can't say like Josh Allen or Rosen. So
Okay.
honestly, I would go with. I did this with my friend the other day. Who was the worst quarterback? And it was between Bortles and Tannehill. And honestly, I would say Tannehill because at least Bortles throws down the field.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was looking at it. I was talking with my boss about it today, and we were like, man, ugh, ugh. Okay.
For how much flack Blake Bortles gets, at least he like takes shots down the field. Like Tannehill takes every check down he possibly can. Screens. Like I know Gase has no confidence.
He's
in
like
him,
the
but,
guy,
still.
like your buddy, that's like, oh man, there's like a 7 right there, right? Like a 7. Like instead of going to ask her out, he always goes for the 3 because he knows I'll always get the 3 to go out with him. But he doesn't want to be embarrassed or take a chance and get rejected, so he always asks the 3 out. And you're like, dude, you just gotta swing sometimes, you know? You just gotta you gotta go for it. And he just never does. So yeah, the Dolphins got the W. It was a
Shouldn't have.
very entertaining and rough game. It was interesting. You know, that was the most yardage the Dolphins have put up in 30 years by Brock Osweiler.
More like Albert Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, my biggest surprise of the weekend, I did not see Tennessee getting absolutely mauled to death by the Ravens.
Oh,
I thought Tennessee was coming along. I thought Marcus Mariota and that team was picking it up. I thought they were going to do good. I thought they were going to beat Baltimore. I thought they were going to start showing some stuff. And then they get 11 sacks and just get absolutely demolished.
How do you let up 11 sacks?
That's easy. You just don't block anybody. You just
Like you're
you know,
a pro. You're paid to block, and you're telling me on 11 dropbacks you couldn't block.
Well, I mean, if you watched all of them, some of them are his fault, but yeah, a lot of it's like how does it just to me it looked like the Titans just weren't ready to play. Like offense, defense, everything just looked like they just weren't. They just didn't show up. And that's what happens in the NFL. If you don't show up for a week, you just get run over.
Well, they got beat by Buffalo, and now they got mauled by Baltimore. So I don't know where to go for Tennessee right now.
The AFC South is regressing hard, like hard. Speaking of that,
It was already bad.
the Dolphins should be in the AFC South because it's such bullcrap that every single team in Miami's division is in the North besides Miami. How is that the AFC East? Oh,
So you would switch Indianapolis and Miami.
I would switch.
You'd have to. It's the most northern team.
Yeah, and then I would put Indianapolis somewhere else, and you could put Pittsburgh, you could put Baltimore, you could put any of those teams on the AFC East or Jacksonville, right? Miami's the most southern team that plays, and yet you have them in the AFC East. Bullcrap, straight bullcrap. Baker Mayfield didn't look so hot yesterday. You worried for your boy?
Am I worried? No. The Chargers are a formidable team. I think they're underrated. They're eventually going to get their players back. Joey Bosa is going to help that defensive line because I know Chargers are a little weak defensively right now, but Philip Rivers is at his age is still producing. Melvin Gordon's been a star, fantasy stud. I like the Chargers going forward. I don't know if they can contend with the Chiefs or the Patriots, but I think they can throw their name into the hat right now.
I agree. The Chargers' problem the last couple of years is they always start like super slow, right? Everyone's like, my gosh, and they finally didn't start slow this year. Same time, the Browns like calling cards their defense, and they got run over. Wasn't a good game for the Browns. Wasn't a good look for the Browns. It doesn't help. That looks like Pittsburgh's getting back on track. Cincinnati is still average, and Baltimore's getting on track. So, what I think was going to turn out to be a promising year for the Browns is going to end up them being 5-11. I don't see much more for them from that. Pittsburgh ripped Cincinnati's heart out. Just ran a slant right down. How do you not even cover the guy? How do you not even cover Antonio Brown?
Would you call pass interference for that on Schuster?
I think I should call pass interference on the defensive coordinator for not putting him up in press.
I mean, you're right. How do you not cover Antonio Brown's situation? He's arguably one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the league.
I don't understand why defensive coordinators love playing zone so much and giving quarterbacks just easy throws. I've never understood that. It's the National Football League. This is the best of the best. You're supposed to have to earn everything you get. And instead, they play these soft zones, which give these quarterbacks all these easy throws, and it's like, what are you even doing?
I just remember, what was it, Denver-Pittsburgh a few years ago. I think it was the year Denver played New England, roughed Brady that year, where Pittsburgh was so scared of the big plays, or Denver, either way around. But the point was that they'd place 10 yards off the ball.
Yep.
And they were afraid to let the big play, and they let up 5 20-yard plays during that game.
Yep, that's what happens when you play scared. It just ends up happening, and it's so annoying. If I was a defensive coordinator, I would play. I don't care if I got burned. Just play press coverage, right? Make them throw the deep pass. Make them throw accurate throws in the tighter windows and giving them free yards all the time. It's ridiculous.
How else do you expect to stop Tyreek Hill? You're just going to blow by you if you play 10 yards off the ball. You got to at least jam him at the line.
Yeah, that's a special case, though. Tyreek Hill's a bad example because he's so fast. But I'm just talking about in general, letting these guys get free releases all the time. Like watching the Dolphins, like Gronkowski, get off the line free every single time. How stupid are you? How utterly stupid are you? In other news, Seattle destroyed the Raiders. The Raiders are in full rebuild mode. The report today from I think ESPN and other places that John Gruden's looking to trade not Khalil Mack. He already did that. Looking to trade Carl Joseph and Amari Cooper.
Yep.
And my biggest letdown of the weekend was stupid Jacksonville getting destroyed by Dallas. I always say that great defenses in the NFL nowadays have 3 to 4 year lifespans, and Jacksonville's in their 3rd year, and I thought they'd make it to a 4th, but it looks like their defense has only made it 3 years. So it looks like the Jacksonville is crumbling. Dallas played out of their minds, were able to do whatever they wanted to them, and it was just a pathetic game and a boring game to watch, and I was really upset by it. Really upset by it. I was emotionally torn up by it. After that emotional roller coaster of the Dolphin game. It's great to see that there's no defense in the NFL anymore. Most of these games, both teams have over 20 points. It's just sad. That last night's game between New England and Kansas City had no defense, so they were MIA besides the two picks.
No, it was very painful watch from a defensive perspective. I mean, if problem is that the casual fan likes Tom Brady, they like Patrick Mahomes, they like this spread out, just run and gun, and just go right up the field and just score with ease. And I don't understand it. I mean, you got to have a balanced game. If you just I can't sit there and just watch a defense get annihilated for 60 minutes.
that's all that was last night, besides the two pickoffs of Mahomes. I will say though, I don't think when Kansas City plays them again in the playoffs, I think New England's going to beat them pretty soundly. Not like amazing or anything, but I think we always know that New England gets way better as the season goes on, and Kansas City gets worse when the playoffs get here. So I think New England will beat them by double digits when playoffs come around. I think you saw holes in Mahomes' game. Mahomes isn't that great when you keep him in the pocket, so you just got to keep him in the pocket, get some sacks on him, and he's not as great as advertised. So I
I
mean,
don't think they sacked him once.
and he missed a couple of easy touchdowns early in that game. Just I mean, he had Kareem Hunt down the seam, completely missed him. Had what's his name? Tyreek Hill in the
Tyreek
end
Hill.
zone, missed him. Just a couple of easy touchdowns that he was just so flustered and not ready for that spotlight that he missed. He played much better in the second half, but like I said, I don't care about the Chiefs until playoffs come, and I think when playoffs come, they're gonna fold to New England like they always do. Los Angeles is 6-0, right? 5-0, 6-0.
6-0.
No one can seem to beat them. I really want someone to beat them, so I don't have to see them undefeated anymore. Is it a lock that they're in the Super Bowl?
Is it sad when the snow was the biggest defense to the Rams this year?
I saw a meme today, and it was like the only guy that can stop the Rams, and it was a photo of Jeff Fisher.
That's actually pretty funny. Oh no, that their schedule doesn't look any better for the NFL. A lot of divisional games and just teams that we just know can't stop the Rams offensively or even match with them. So I'm not going to start talking undefeated talk, but it's possible.
I think if I was McVay, I think I would on purpose lose like the last game. If you had the first two wrapped up, I would lose the last game because I don't think you want all that pressure going into the playoffs. Right? You got a relatively young team. I don't think you want that pressure going into the playoffs. I think it's much better to take the loss. Remember when the Warriors went 73 and what 9 or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
all that pressure they had to finish that season and couldn't do it. Same thing with the Patriots. I just feel like there's so much pressure, especially for that young of a team. It's not worth it. Just take a loss, rest your players, and I think you'd be fine in the playoffs. Um, but yeah, they're looking pretty much unbeatable. I mean, the only chance they have to lose at home is they're not going to lose at home, even though they don't really have a home field advantage. It's just kind of crazy. Uh, man, Atlanta won. They're trying to get back on track. That Houston Buffalo game was rough. Anyone that watched
Did you
that,
see the last play for Tampa?
oh yeah, they almost scored a touchdown throwing the laterals.
Well, who's calling that play?
It
A
almost
quarterback
worked.
draw?
It almost worked. You got
It
Jameis
wasn't going to
Winston.
work.
You got Jameis Winston. Let's be real. What is going to work in that situation?
Like, did he literally think like this was Madden where you go to practice and you turn the defense off, where you could just run right down the field and score? No one's going to stop you. I mean,
Hey, to be fair, they got pretty close. I'm not saying they were great, but they got pretty close.
when you give them 15 yards, it's easy to say they got close.
Man. All right, Adam, give me your top 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL, starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Top 5. So I guess bottom
Worst?
5. I guess bottom 5 is. Yep.
Counting rookies,
Yeah, everyone right now.
Tannehill,
Okay.
Bortles,
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Whew.
I got to put Rosen in there.
Damn.
Fifth? Who's the fifth worst? Like, you want to throw CJ Beathard in there, but is that really his fault?
They winning right now.
Ugh, that's really bad for Green Bay. Who could be even comparable to CJ Beathard?
he's not a starting quarterback, so I don't count him.
Mm,
You got Deshaun Watson, you got Mitch Trubisky, you got Eli Manning, you got Jameis Winston, Case
mm,
Keenum.
uh, that's a tough one.
All right, I'll give you
I
mine.
will.
I got Ryan Tannehill. I got Blake Bortles. I got I got Rosen and Allen. Man, we're really too much like. And my last one,
See, it's tough because there's so many bad
I'm gonna say
quarterbacks.
Derek Carr.
I was thinking that too.
He's been
I mean,
pretty bad this
that
year.
offense has been abysmal. And it's not like they don't have weapons.
He's been really bad. He's like that girl that goes to prom and she's really attractive, and you see her again in school and she's just not. It's like, man, you had one good year and now you're garbage.
You and your girl analogies.
It's what most people can relate to, right?
Most men, at least.
Every guy was a high schooler at one point that saw a pretty girl.
Hey, you were homeschooled, man.
True, but I still went to prom.
You and I didn't go to prom.
Oh, well, it's not my fault. You didn't have a girlfriend.
I think you didn't have a girlfriend to go to prom.
I went to prom with my girlfriend.
And how was it?
Um, I mean, it was kind of what you'd expect. It was a bunch of
I don't
awkward.
know what to expect, Ian. I didn't go to prom.
It was a bunch of awkward high schoolers dancing and eating food and drinking whatever they had to drink, and then people leaving to go get drunk and have sex. That was prom in a nutshell, pretty much. So I don't know. It was interesting, especially not knowing like anybody at prom, being homeschooled and all.
Where do you go for that if you're homeschooled? Like
Well,
just
my
in school?
girlfriend was in high school, so I went to her high school.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience.
Would you do it again?
I mean, I'm 25. I don't think I'd do it again. It'd be
Would
really
you turn
awkward.
back the clock to do it again?
I mean, sure. So you could say, "Hey, I went to prom." I don't think there's much more beyond that, right? Like I wasn't trying to win prom king or prom queen or something like that. I know my girlfriend at the time was super pissed she wasn't picked. Like she was furious, like very passive aggressive about it, right? Like I don't care, but you could definitely tell she cares, especially when like she was jealous of the girl that won it. So it's a lot of drama. But I don't really
What
care
do,
about that stuff.
what would it took to get you to be prom king? Because not one person knew you in that building.
Oh, there's no way I would be prom king. No way. At least if I told them I had like leukemia or something, I would have got it.
Oh my!
You know, or
Don't stoop that low.
hey, listen, prom king's big deal, man. Got
For 1 year, and then the homecoming prom king comes irrelevant, and he's working at McDonald's the rest of his life.
yeah, like I wonder. I love to see the stats on successful prom kings in life. Like,
Peaked in high school, guys.
what is the correlation of, uh, prom king to
Monetary success.
yeah, that would be an interesting chart to see. I wonder what it is. What would you take the gander at?
Like, what do you mean? Do I take the gander at?
Like, what do you think the success rate would be?
I think
Like
there's
for
just a
like
lot of peaked in high school guys. Like, I
Ooh.
don't even. I mean, obviously, I don't know who was prom king, but
The guy that won it when I went to prom literally had cancer. That's why he won it.
oh,
He was some short little dude and he had cancer, so they gave it to him.
I would say that prom king does not correlate with success in the career world
Like at all, or just not very well, or a little
for
bit,
the most part. Like,
for the most part.
I'd say, like, I mean, what's the standard? Like, average wage, what, 40,000 a year?
Is that the average wage? It's probably yeah, it's probably something like that. Let me
So
look it
if
up. Average wage of a 25-year-old.
probably less than 40, probably closer to 30.
Ooh, it's about 40. It's 39.
Okay. So if average wage is 40,000 for a 25-year-old, I'd say 60% of prom
Whew.
kings do not
See,
make 40,000
I think it's a
by
lot.
they're
I
25.
think it's a lot more regional based, right? Like if you come from like a small town, I think the prom king. I think you're right. I think it's probably like higher, like 80%. They don't doesn't translate very well to monetary, right? I think if you come from like a populated area where it's like a really rich and smart area, then I think it probably translates better. I think it's more like region and like geographical dependent. Like, because I don't think anyone that was running for prom king the school I went to, I mean the school my girlfriend went to at the time, would have done anything.
No love
So
for the prom king in Montana.
hey, maybe he comes from a nice school area, right? But I just think the smaller areas, I don't think place as much. I think being prom king is much more a focus, and if you come from like a big city, big area where it's not near as a big indicator. That's just my opinion about it. But that would
Well,
be
you are
interesting.
opinionated.
I am very opinionated. Just like I think uh, the Steelers really don't care if Le'Veon Bell comes back because I think they're pretty happy with James Conner.
I'd be happy with James Conner right now, whether I was a fantasy fan or a fan of the Steelers, because he's producing. He's scoring touchdowns for him. He's getting the yards that he needs to, and they're winning games right now.
I can't believe they came back and what do you call it? Won that game. I was so mad. I had picked the Bengals on our podcast, just like I picked the Chiefs and I picked the Jaguars. Wasn't a good week for me, man. Wasn't like
I mean, maybe you're just not good at this analyst thing.
I am an analyst for my job though, so
Yeah, that's the
not
problem,
not
man.
a football analyst, but I better be good at something, you know.
Maybe I should take your job.
Maybe I'll come into work tomorrow and my boss will be like, it's a funny thing. My boss is a 49er fan in a Seattle city, so we get to talk about how much we hate the Seahawks.
He's
Um,
also an Oklahoma fan, and
yeah, Boomer Sooner. What did you think of college football this weekend? We had some upsets. We had LSU coming back with a vengeance. I thought they were done. You had West Virginia getting slaughtered by Iowa State. You had, I think Michigan State beat Penn State. Yeah. You had Notre
mm-hmm.
Dame hold on for dear life. And you have Texas up to seventh in the rankings. What did you think of this weekend in college football? And my alma mater USF beat Tulsa by 1 point. Let's go. That was 2 weeks ago. No, it was last week. It was last week. What do you think about this weekend in college football?
Well, every year there's that one week that they just call Chaos Week, where it's just all the top 10, all the top 25. Like they either struggle or they lose, and that clearly was this week. Uh, Georgia, LSU. I didn't see much college football this week, so I can't really rate the games. But
You do a sports
from what,
podcast. You're not even watching the stuff.
hey man, what can I say? But from what I've seen from Georgia, I'm not as impressed as I was with them last year.
Okay.
Fromm has struggled immensely. I know his offensive line hasn't been strong. He doesn't have the running back talent that he had last year with Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel, and that's been a huge detriment to the offense. They do have a decent core of running backs, but it's just not the same. LSU, they just gave him a pounding, like forced turnovers, made
Beat their
plays, ran the ball
ass.
well.
Beat their ass. Like damn, that was rough. I couldn't. I remember I told you I thought that LSU was done for the year. I was wrong.
Can they beat Alabama?
No. It would take like such a hero effort from the kicker, the punter, the whole defense that Joe Burrow. It would take such a hero effort, and I don't think they have. I don't, like that. I don't think they have it. I don't think anyone has it in them to beat Alabama this year, as long as Tua is a starter. Now, if they knock Tua out, then all bets are off. But as long as Tua's starting, I don't think you're gonna beat them. Remember, hashtag tank for Tua.
I put it out on our Twitter.
Hashtag tank for Tua. That'll be my motto. We should get a hat that says that until he gets drafted by the Patriots to replace Tom Brady, and my life's ruined again. What would you put the odds that happens? I bet the odds are super high. I cry. I would literally cry.
That the Pats just tank for Tua.
Not tank, but they like move up and get him on draft day. I would cry.
I would hold good odds. Like I wouldn't bet on that one because it'd be pretty good odds.
Man, if you were like a top quarterback, right? Like if you were like gonna be drafted like super high, right? Like you were like Andrew Luck, right? You know when he was coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like let's say it was the Browns again, right? And they're just still god awful, right? And they're terrible. Would you like smoke a little weed or something and put it out there so the Browns might pass on you? Would you do something to sort of sabotage yourself to get away from them?
I mean, Reuben Foster did that. Of course, he's with the 49ers now. But uh, would I sabotage
Because you know if you
potential
if
money?
you know if you fall down to like pick 14, 15, you're gonna wind up on a much better team.
I wouldn't break my moral standards just to lower myself in the draft, even if it is with a lesser team.
Yeah, but your career might be ruined if you go to Cleveland.
Trent Richardson.
Yeah. So what would you do? Would you would sit there and just take it?
If I'm a quarterback, what happened to Baker Mayfield?
Well, we haven't seen him develop yet. I'm talking about like if in 2 years Cleveland's still just straight garbage, and you're like Tua Tagovailoa, you stayed for your senior year, now you're coming out, and everyone's saying the Browns are gonna draft you, and you know that quarterbacks go there to die. Does it
I
have to be
might.
like? Does it have to be
I
weird?
wouldn't sabotage. I wouldn't do something like that, but I would like do something in the interview process where it would make myself look really arrogant or just answer questions really poorly to be like, maybe we don't want this guy.
Yeah, but that's like they might not care about that, right? If you do put something out there like like something like really I don't know shady. I'm sure some players will do that or do that to try and get dropped. I don't know. Maybe
Just
I'm wrong.
totally tank the combine, like throw the worst passes.
Just do something, right? If you know the Browns are going to draft you, you don't want to be drafted by the Browns, right? Wouldn't you try and save your career? Because I mean, seriously, how many careers? I mean, they drafted so many quarterbacks. Not all those quarterbacks had to be failures, right? Like at least one or two of them could have been decent somewhere else.
All the money in the world could not handle me failing as a career for the Browns. Like I don't care being number one pick, that would be great, but and all the money that come with it, but you already know your career is maybe what 5 years, if that.
When you're drafted, yeah.
And that's if you go with Cleveland for like 4 years. They don't take your fifth year option. You go somewhere else and you get cut. That's your career right there. And you're labeled a bust. You're in the conversation with like a Jamarcus Russell or a Ryan Leaf the rest of your career, the rest of your life. It's not worth it.
So you would just sit there and go with it.
No, I wouldn't. I would try to fall down the board.
How would you try? You would just
I'm
try
not
and
gonna
tank.
smoke some weed. I mean,
No, I'm not. I
especially
was
If Seattle or Denver's interviewing me, I mean, I can do whatever I want.
no because NFL still requires it.
Uh,
But so I'm just saying you would just try and sabotage yourself
Interview
in the interview,
process,
but
maybe at the combine,
not like
run the
not
worst 40 of my life.
not like outside of that.
I'd run like a Tom Brady esque 40, like
Yeah, but see, they
5.5.
might figure that out. I'm talking about like if you were like like outside of like football, like personal life stuff comes to light.
I would just
Yeah.
let it show in the interview process.
Okay. I don't know what I would do. I think it's a very interesting and fascinating question though. You know, Green Bay's getting beat by 7 points with 13 minutes to go.
How can you ask the question and not answer it?
Okay, I think I would let something slip through, right? Like I would be like, oh, he's not, he's kind of he's a dick, or he doesn't always keep his word, or he messes up a lot, or he makes some poor decisions, or he eats bad, or something like I know that doesn't sound very bad, but it's just enough that would get you past Cleveland. I don't know what it would be, but it
Like
has to be something.
Indianapolis.
It has to be something, man. Cleveland ruins quarterbacks. They just do. I'm not saying they've ruined Baker
So do the
Mayfield.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins only have one quarterback in the last 6 years, okay? Ugh, fire Ryan Tannehill, get
Look at
rid
the
of him,
last
please.
20 years.
Yeah, we had Fiedler for a lot of that, and then we had just some terrible quarterbacks. I don't
Who's
understand
the
why.
best quarterback since Dan Marino for the Miami Dolphins? Chad Pennington.
I hate Chad Pennington with a passion, so I won't say that. I don't hate him personally. I hate how we won with him. We won running the football, and we won against bad teams. And we played a good team in the playoffs. They destroyed us because they literally just pressed the receivers, and he couldn't throw the ball deep, and he threw those so bad against Baltimore. That was probably the worst playoff game I've ever seen. Was that Baltimore Dolphins playoff game in 2008? You remember that? Remember how bad they got slaughtered?
Yeah,
He
Baltimore
couldn't throw
shredded
the
them.
he couldn't throw the ball more than 30 yards. He just couldn't. It was embarrassing.
Would you rather have Chad Pennington or Ryan Tannehill?
Chad Pennington, just because I know because Chad Pennington, you know, his limit isn't his intellect; it's his arm. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, his intellect is a problem. So
So who's the best Dolphins quarterback in the last 20 years?
Chad Pennington had like one good year. You'd probably have to go with Fiedler because at least Fiedler got into the playoffs once and had a decent run. I hate Jay Fiedler too, though. Right? That's like picking like which acid you want to drink to die. It's like there's no good options.
Didn't like Cleo Lemon or Dante Culpepper or
Dante Culpepper is probably the worst.
Pat White,
Dante freaking Culpepper.
John Beck, Chad Henne. Man, these
Oh
are some
man,
Hall of Fame names here.
If you had to win one game and you had to pick between John Beck and Chad Henne, who are you playing?
Chad Henne's still in the league, so I'll go with him.
All right. Blake Bortles or Johnny Manziel?
Which version of Johnny Manziel am I getting? Cocky
The Cleveland
college.
one.
So you said Blake Bortles or Johnny Manziel?
Yep.
On the Dolphins?
On just in general.
I'd go with Bortles. I'd suffer through that.
You really are suffering through that, though. That's what's sad about it.
I'd have to suffer through Johnny football. He's having a great CFL career, by the way. That's sarcasm.
Dude, I don't really care about Johnny Manziel anymore. He's such an idiot. Okay.
What player would make you watch the CFL if they showed up to the CFL? If
Literally
Aaron
no one.
Rodgers showed
No
up?
one, because you know they're washed up by that point. So no one. Everyone, the NFL is about teams and being the best. That's why no one will watch it. That's why I think it's gonna be hard for the UFL or whatever's coming back in 2020 to be successful.
The XFL?
Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, Adam. Time for the time of the podcast. What is one thing you hated this week or disliked this week?
The officiating. It was awful.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know how many holds. The Dallas Cowboys they called 0 penalties on them. I don't know how many holds I caught Lyle Collins make, and they right in front of the ref. The right tackle was right in front of the ref, and they called nothing. 0. It was pathetic. I mean, Jacksonville was going to lose the game regardless, but Dallas didn't get any calls.
Okay. You really are.
And then the Patriots game, the big return towards the end of the game, Matthew Slater is held and pushed block in the back, and they still didn't call it. And then they replayed it 3 times, and how do you not call it?
You ain't giving me something for me from a team that got absolutely no penalties called on them last night, which was a BS thing. How do you get no penalties called on you?
Well, to be fair, they called no penalties in that game. They had no punts either.
Yeah, it was not a good game for defensive fans to watch. At all. At all.
What's your thing?
U.S. soccer losing the friendly to Colombia. How bad can you be?
Well, wait till they play Peru tomorrow.
The U.S. is just terrible. The only time I watch soccer is watching the national team.
Well, to be fair, Colombia is way more talented than we are, no matter who we put on the field.
I don't give a crap. You shouldn't be losing to them. We're the best country in the world. Just act like it. It's just the way we play, right?
Why don't we hire a coach then?
It's not the fact that we lose. It's the way we play. The way we play so scared, right? Play aggressive, man.
I want Taylor Twellman on this podcast.
I don't think he's ever. We have to actually have a decent podcast for him to join.
If I could even be half of what that man is, I would be the most proud man in America.
Wow, okay. That's a little much. But yeah, the U.S. soccer sucking dick was not very.
Oh, this is a PG friendly show, man.
No, it's not. It's a whatever we want it to be. So that was upsetting,
So,
really upsetting. What's one thing you loved since last podcast on Thursday?
one thing I loved.
Yeah, or liked.
Mm, mm, one thing I liked. Why don't you go first?
I saw Venom this week. I really enjoyed Venom. I thought it was pretty cool. There were some stupid parts to it, but it was overall fun. Venom wrecks people, and I wish it would have been rated R and we could look at it a little more. I want him to go against Spider-Man. I think that'd be a dope showdown. So going to the movies, I still love going to the movies. One thing I really can't stand is when someone's phone went off during the movie, so I wanted to kill them. Also, the person next to you when they're talking to your friend during the movie, like shut the hell up, right? Like I paid to watch this movie, I don't want to hear you talking during it. I think theater food needs to get better, right? Like, come on, it's 2018, right? The food is just literally just grease. What do we have to come to in America to get food that's normal? Like at a movie theater. I don't care. Like I don't care. It's super overpriced. Fine, whatever. I'll pay it. But why can't we get like decent food in a movie theater? Nothing. No response.
I mean, I don't go to the movies, so I can't really answer that question.
The food is just so bad. Like I don't.
Overpriced too.
I know, but like I said, I'll be willing to pay the overpriced food if you at least make it decent. It's not even decent. It's like the FDA like barely makes it legal, or like they pay off the FDA when they come by to certify them. They're like, yeah, I don't even think we can serve this to homeless people.
So
But
if you owned a movie theater, and let's say you had a lot of money to do so, like what would you make the concession stand, or would you make like a cafe or something? Like, what
you
would you
can't
do
really have
with
a
the?
cafe, but I think you would. I mean, I think I'll have a kitchen. There's a movie theater by us. It's a sit down movie theater where you can order food, and I've been there, and their food's subpar, right? And the whole like the attraction of that theater is it's 21 and over, and you order food and you can eat it while you're watching the movie, right? And I wasn't impressed with that, right? I think I would have a movie theater that just had decent food. It doesn't even have to be amazing. So I have like a chef or a decent chef, and I actually have decent food, right? You could have a not like, you don't have to have a full kitchen, but just enough of one where you offer decent food where it's like, man, people really want to buy it. You already see people are willing to spend a boatload of money on concessions anyway, right? No one cares about the popcorn, right? I don't care about the popcorn, but everything else, right? Like the pizza they have or the hot dogs or whatever. Just offer something, man, that will make me go. Every time I go to a movie theater, I'm not going to eat anything from the movie theater because I know how bad it is. We need to make movie theater food great again.
Talk to Trump about that.
That's what I'm talking about. What about you, Adam? What was the thing you loved this week?
I love this week. Just get to live another day, man. It's great. But seriously, I don't know. It's just be able to watch some football. Like I don't, nothing great stood out to my week. So just be able to watch some football and just relax and be able to live. Like I can't complain with that.
Okay. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this podcast. We'll probably be back on Wednesday or Thursday. Whenever we do, I don't know if we've gotten approached, but I don't know if approached. I don't know if iTunes got approved it yet. Has it approved the
Nope.
podcast? Oh, stupid iTunes. So this will be up on YouTube. If you can like and subscribe, and if you like our podcast, leave us a comment or a question, and we'll be sure to talk about it. Anywho, thanks for
Follow
listening.
us on Twitter.
There you go. If you guys liked it, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.